somewhere with a bunch of people who seem to be, I'm sure that's a policeman, he walks and talks like one. Oh no, he's taking care of me, I'm sure he is, yeah. And this is in the West, and where somehow you're still working for change. You hear stories all the time of some poor schlub in court in the UK who's been driving around with God knows what for the Albanians, or he's doing things the Albanians wouldn't do. Covers a few things. So, and what's he getting? Like 500-600 a week. When you break it down, because it looks like $2,000, but you already owe me.
Speaking of mothers, Carlos Leda of the Medellin cartel used to give his mother 3 trips to Disneyland with the white. She had the white on it.
Oh, really? Oh, it wasn't a free ride.
She thought it was.
Poor thing. Oh, well. I wonder what her favourite attractions were. It must have been the palace. It's Fantasyland, I think. There's no excusing some people, is there? So, but here we're going back to what seemed acceptable to me, the pre-Pablo, the actual genuine Pablo. Now, Pablo himself was tended to have things go wrong a lot, but it was through minor cost-saving things that were just stupid, not putting in an extra trip or renting an Airbnb for a couple of weeks, even if you're only going to use it for a day. In reality, you don't want to be renting anything for a day. Would it want an hour? No, I don't need the key. Just leave the door ajar. So things would magically come up and surprise you about. But he was super keen. I mean, he didn't let failure, of which there were many, interfere with anything. Now, where did I first come across him? Oh, right. It was the cousin of somebody, it always is, who was already locked up over there. He'd been working for Pablo, got himself arrested. He was one of a series of arrests by the now infamous Pablo SIM card. Now, when you've got a bunch of people visiting your country and you're trying to keep the communications discreet, you generally buy burners, which, yes, Pablo did that. Well, I shouldn't say he bought them. He kind of recycled them. He had a big box of them. But the SIM card, you actually had to go down, and it was a silly thing, but you had to fill in a form. It was not like here. And even though the form was a bunch of lies and the ID card that went along with it was somebody else's, it was a thing where you had to get up before midday. And it was a thing that you actually had to go and do. And you could send somebody else, but the last time you sent him, there was, you didn't want anybody knowing the number that didn't have to know the number. So I just if I clean the contact points on this SIM card, it might improve its chances. Except that the DEA over there had this telephone number, which no doubt, to huge hilarity around the office, was, it came alive again. I did it. What, that phone sprang? Oh, it has, yeah. What kind of voices we got at the other end? Well, they speak English, some of them. Good enough for us. Yeah. Any American accents? No, sorry to say. Oh, no, it's okay. Well, we won't step in on this one, but we'll certainly burn them. This will be the burner they won't forget. And I remember, because I was visiting, I dropped off I went to a place to drop off some money for the cousin, and I looked around me. I thought, no, there's no way the cousin's going to get this thing. This is money does not reach cousin from the place where I am. This little barrio favela flat. It does not. It has a path to the jail, but not one that's going to do the cousin any good. So I called in there at the actual jail and picked up a bit of gossip here and there. And it was surprisingly expensive just to get a mattress in there. Well, you've had guests here tell you about South American prisons, but generally speaking...
Posh Pete.
Yeah, he's an unlucky guy. He went to that horrible, disgusting place.
Check out our video with David McMillan and Posh Pete, which means David's done 13 podcasts plus...
Oh, yes. No, probably 15 actually already, if you count the unofficials.
And our banned virus series.
Oh, that one.
That's on your channel now.
It's on my channel.
You can watch original content of me and David bantering about the corona before it got banned, talking about it got banned.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's the advantage that nobody watches my channel, but at least it doesn't come up above the radar because it's not monetized and never will be because I wouldn't make a bean on it. I mean, I'm not going to get sidetracked here, but poor old podcasters don't make anything as soon as it's political anyway, just about, do they? I mean, you only have to talk Israeli.
Depends what side of the politics you're on.
Well, Gaza, you can't win. Any side you're, from a broadcaster's point of view. I know which side I take, but I won't say. Yeah. Now, I just this thing of Sinwar's flip-flops in my head. I can't shake it out. But back to Pablo. All roads led there, and so very cautiously I met him. I said, I think... I have kind of got somebody, but he's in a rather delicate condition. What do you mean? Well, he's old-ish. Don't get him to lug heavy things around. Oh, don't worry about that. No. That'll be okay. Because this was a friend of mine, this whole guy. I didn't want him. It was a kind of retirement thing for him anyway. He was kind of past it. But you know how I'd warned. I said, "Don't get him to carry anything heavy. He's got breathing troubles." Mm-hmm. So it's a logical thing then to send him to Cusco. Which is in the high Andes. I got a taxi driver on the other end of the phone saying, your friend can't breathe.
Did they give him something to chew?
Chew? Yeah, I don't think that actually helped. But they do carry little oxygen tanks around there. So he was kind of glued to that and in a wheelchair. Did that help his general cause a bit? I had to intervene. I said, because it was my friend, I said to him, what flight they got you on? It's 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I said, well, you're getting off that one for a start. I'm sorry, it's going to have to be later. Back to Pablo. Why did you buy that ticket? It's cheaper, isn't it? You get. The thing is, the whole point of sending somebody up to Cusco, which is a big tourist draw. Now the flights go up there, but it's very hazy, misty. It's in a kind of a gully thing. The airport, if you want to call it generously that, gets kind of like smudged off the map through fog and mist. Early in the mornings and late at night. So you've kind of got one. And the reason you want that 4 o'clock one is because when you check in there, they'll check your bag in right out of the country. Like they'll double tag it because you've only got an hour between connections, and they don't. Whereas normally it'd be a domestic flight, you understand? Then they just dump your bag in, you get your bag off, you check it in again for your international bit. There's no time for that. You're on the last flight of the day. They always do it, and so they checked this bag right through. Had they not, it would have been like the girls Pablo sent the next time. And Pablo said, "Didn't we have a whole thing about Cuzco and the last flight out, you know?" Oh, yeah, it wasn't me, it was, look. I mean, we've all heard the excuse factory about, I don't know what went wrong. I gave the job to my trusted Lieutenant Dingbat, and I don't know why Dingbat screwed it all up, but, he's done it again. But it's really hard to. I can't think of a flaw that he never made. He even sent me, and I must have encouraged this behaviour. He even sent me a couple of pictures of him for a passport. This was the ugliest mother you've ever seen in your life. You couldn't. I said, "I'm sorry, mate. It's not going to go through. You got to do something about that face of yours." So you know what it reminded me of? An ugly version of the already ugly pineapple face. It was the dictator of Panama. Noriega, yeah. Now, he was no oil painting, was he?
Lapini.
Very far from it. He looked like, the darts board out in Maybury or something. Full-on pockmark. He died in prison, didn't he?
Another CIA patsy.
Yeah, I'd very much double-crossed. He gave them what they wanted. He got nothing back.
Don't mess with the Bush crime family.
Yeah, it does look a bit iffy, doesn't it? I'm not, a big fan of conspiracies, but this is not. We can say it's not really in the category of that lot of conspiracies. It's just the way they did things. It's the way they went. Not just Bush. Who was? He was in the CIA. He was vice president for a while. I'll think of his name.
Oliver North? No, he wasn't vice president.
No. He was. In fact, they made a film about him. It was just called Vice.
If viewers want to do I've written a book called Clinton, Bush, and CIA Conspiracies, from the Boys on the Tracks to Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, really?
And we cover Noriega in that. Yeah.
Is it published?
Yeah, published among my oeuvre of 17 books.
Wow. Since we last spoke, how many books have you had?
Probably about 50.
No.
5.
Oh, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Got you in one of them, Sit-Downs with Gangsters.
Yeah, I know. I read that chapter, but I found other people's chapters a bit more interesting than mine.
Well, you've lived it. You just think it's normal for you.
yeah, I suppose. I think you could do with a sequel on that one.
We've got Sit-Downs with Female Gangsters coming out. They just sent me the copy to look over. And then we've got Sit-Downs with Serial Killers and Murderers coming out after that. Already written, all 3 of them.
I didn't know you had any serial killers.
We've had to do, for example, Wild Bill. We did him via WhatsApp voice notes because he's still in prison in Panama serving life, and he was a cartel hitman serial killer.
I'll say the entire debrief, as it were, is via WhatsApp voice notes.
Yeah, it had to be put together.
What, on a legal phone or
he had a contraband phone, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I think that gives it a something.
Yeah.
And you still got 164 pages out of that.
Out of his...
Oh, it wasn't the whole section.
No, it's 10 different people in each one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Natalie Welch is in the Sit-Downs with Female Gangsters, who you'll meet tomorrow, perhaps. Venezuela prison, escaped.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No doubt it is. Have you heard her before?
Heard
Have you had her on before?
twice, and we've helped her republish her book, Escape from Venezuela's Most Deadly Prison. Yeah. Check it out, folks.
Yeah.
Got some good book recommendations there.
And
Let's get back to Pablo.
Okay, anyway. There was... you can see where Pablo's just going to be more trouble than it's worth. So what we did was... tried to change the technicalities of it so that it was not just this thing of running people up against a brick wall of airports and things, because it was becoming very clear by then that the world had changed in such a way that there were only certain amount of places that could be made as sources, only a certain amount of flights that went places. They were narrowing and being intensely targeted. It was really do something different or get out of that, or that's all wrong. But the thing was, there's always a loose end in my bag of excuses, and there were a few in this one, but where it did get a little interesting was the flexibility of the material. This could be rubberized, it could be plasticized. It was famous for took delivery once of a hard-shell case. Now, as you know, traditionally speaking, hard-shell cases are kind of frowned upon because there's the things that have false walls and stuff like that, whereas the soft don't. But this was kind of like semi-hard. But the thing was, it had been dissolved 3-to-1 with alcohol, had very fine particles of black fibers stirred into the mix, came out as a grey paste, got formed and pressed. Pretty much was reagent proof by the end of it. And it's I mean, you might say, oh, these are technicalities, they matter, but people actually kind of get curious about these things. Now, what do you do when somebody gives you a suitcase that you know, but you can't see anything? What do? Report it to the nearest Boy Scouts Association? No, you can't do that for various reasons. So instead, you get out a coffee grinder and cut it all up with garden shears, and the coffee grinder not to be left on for bursts of more than about 30 seconds because overheats, thing goes gloopy. We need particles here, in theory. Don't want this sticky mess. And then all back into alcohol again, then evaporated down. People say, and I can vouch for their authenticity, that you can speed up the process by putting a bowl in the microwave. But very careful on your timing there, Sean. Many is the flash fire that results from somebody being a little too keen to hurry the thing along. But there is a great reward at the end of it when the entire glass bowl turns into a kind of Christmas special, you could say. Ding, 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 ding. I can hear Santa coming,
I can see your eyes lighting up.
Yeah. Tell you what, that suitcase was a gift that just kept on giving. even though it had been through the mill and had everything done to it a couple of times, still, when had nothing better to do, splosh, 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 with the alcohol, ding, 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 with the nuka, and sure enough, there's still residue. Scrape, scrape, scrape. I mean, really. But a funny thing about Pablo, he here was a kind of double point with him. He, no matter how good everything was, he somehow managed to take it all and ruin it. The thing that I was most impressed by, and this requires a bit of central casting on this one, is a jelly belly. But I know you're scoffing already. You're saying, so what? Seen it before, they're hard as a rock. But no, if the texture's right, and here's the thing with it. The person has to be a little chubby of neck. You can't put some, well past its sell-by date, used up old chicken like me with a neck like a piece of string. No, you've got to have somebody with got a substance to him. So that the clothing, imagine overweight, chubby, kind of stretching, is the trick. It's like a Hawaiian shirt. Make it a size too small. That looks ridiculous. The buttons are strange. That's the very point. Who wants to pat down somebody like that? There's nothing to pat. You're touching the sweaty looking. Get the hell out of there. Get on that damn plane. Don't want to know about you. There's if the casting of it now. The Lollipop Man, quite a lot could have been done with that. But, to tell you the truth, Sean, I'm not a very good businessman. Once something had been done uniquely well, like the right Hawaiian shirt and the right chubby guy and the right thing, I don't know. There'd be a living in it and all of that, and everybody has a good time, and so on. But it was just a thing. And then Pablo was he'd worn out his welcome somewhere. There's a whole background. You can imagine that you don't get to hear about that. He's got some policeman on tow. It looks like some neighborhood bully, this policeman, no doubt, wanting, thinking he's doing better than he is. And all
What,
that.
the family members of the girls upset with him as well?
Yeah, they weren't too happy. In fact, I think they made the papers here because there was two of them. Did one get away with it? No. I must... I'll look it up.
What country did they get caught in?
It was in... so they went through Cusco, so it must have been in Bogota. Yeah, that's right, Colombia. The only other place is they go out of Quito in Ecuador. That's one of Pete's old favorite stomping grounds there. I think time's long gone for that, but there was a time when that was sort of considered a little bit civilized is the wrong word, but developed, a bit more high level, westernized, so you wouldn't get so many riffraff do it. Well, if they were up to no good, they were doing it in a respectable way, whereas the reputation of Colombia was notorious, isn't it? As you know, since leaving all that wicked past behind me, I put CCTV cameras in for some people. I must know the only Colombians in London that are not involved in that. The whole